My family called me the embarrassment for 7 years. So when I bought my dream house, I threw a huge party, invited everyone who believed in me, and left them out. Then Facebook exposed what they said about me. Every holiday, every birthday, every family gathering, it was always the same. The same words, the same looks, the same quiet little pauses that told me exactly where I stood before anyone ever said it out loud. I was the one who did not quite fit, the one everyone tolerated, the one they could not explain, with pride, the embarrassment. Nobody called me that at first, not directly, but I could feel it in the way conversations shifted whenever I walked into the room. I could hear it in the careful, awkward way they described my work to their friends. Nathan's doing something with computers. We're not really sure what it is. I was 32 years old. I had spent 7 years building my company from nothing, and my own family still introduced me like I was unemployed. My brother James was a corporate lawyer. He made partner at 30. He had the corner office, the tailored suits, the prestigious firm my mother could brag about at her book club. My sister Rachel was a pediatric surgeon. She saved children's lives. She had awards, respect, and the kind of career that made my father tear up whenever he talked about her. My cousin David had taken over the family manufacturing business. Third generation, 40 employees. Legacy stability, a path everyone understood. And then there was me, Nathan, the one who did something with computers. I started my company when I was 25, fresh out of college with a computer science degree and an idea nobody in my family understood. It was a project management app, but not for huge corporations. It was for small teams, freelancers, remote workers, people who needed something simple but powerful enough to actually run their work. Why would anyone pay for that? My dad asked when I told him. There are already apps for that. Not like mine, I said. He gave me that look, the one that pretended to be supportive but really meant he thought I was wasting my life. 6 months later, when I was living on ramen and working 18-hour days, he asked, "When are you going to get a real job?" "This is a real job," I told him. "I mean, one with benefits, security, a future. This has a future, Dad." "If you say so." That conversation became the template for the next 7 years. At Thanksgiving, we would go around the table and everyone would share what they were grateful for, what they had accomplished, what they were working toward. James would talk about his latest case, about winning millions for a client, about making partner, about buying his second house. Rachel would talk about a complex surgery, a child's life saved, a medical conference where she was the keynote speaker. David would talk about the family business, new contracts, expansion, hiring more workers. Then they would get to me and someone would say, "Well, Nathan's still working on his app. At least he's trying. At least he's trying." Like I was a child getting a participation trophy for showing up. At Christmas, Mom would ask Rachel about her latest surgery. She would ask James about his career path. She would ask David about the business. Then she would turn to me and say, "Still doing that computer thing?" "Yeah, Mom, still doing that. Maybe next year will be better for you." Better. Like this year had been a failure. Like every year was a failure because I was not wearing a suit to an office, or performing surgery, or running a factory with our family name on it. Eventually, I stopped trying to explain what I did. I stopped trying to make them understand that my app had users, that it was growing, that I was building something real. Because every time I tried, I could see it in their eyes. The polite disinterest, the subtle disappointment, the unspoken question. When are you finally going to do something we can be proud of? At Easter dinner, I sat at the end of the table, in the spot they always seemed to save for me. Not next to anyone important, not in the center of the conversation, just there at the edge, where I could be present without taking up too much space. Uncle Rick, my father's brother, was holding court. He talked about James's latest victory in court, Rachel's promotion to chief of pediatric surgery, and David expanding the business into 3 new states. "I'm so proud of all of you," he said, raising his glass. "Look at what this family has accomplished." He gestured to James, then Rachel, then David. His eyes slid right past me. Not with hostility, not even with deliberate cruelty, just with the kind of unconscious dismissal that hurt worse, because it proved I did not register at all. Like I was not there. Like I did not count. I smiled. I nodded. I sipped my wine. And I felt that familiar ache, the one I had carried since I was 25. The ache of being invisible inside your own family. Then came Uncle Rick's 60th birthday party. It was a big event. Rented venue, catering, open bar, at least 100 people, extended relatives, friends, colleagues, everyone. I almost did not go. I invented 3 different excuses in my head. But Mom called and said, "You have to come, Nathan. It's family. Rick would be disappointed if you weren't there." Would he? I honestly was not sure Uncle Rick would even notice if I was missing. But I went anyway. I wore my best button-down shirt, not a suit, because I did not own one that fit anymore. I had not needed one. I arrived at 7. The party was already in full swing. James was there with his wife, surrounded by people who wanted to hear about his latest case. Rachel was there with her husband, talking to a group about a groundbreaking surgery she had performed. David was there with his fiancée, discussing business expansion with Uncle Rick's friends. I grabbed a beer and found a corner. Around 8, Uncle Rick stood up, clinked his glass, and called for everyone's attention. "I want to make a toast," he said, his voice carrying across the room. "To my family, to my successful nieces and nephews, look at what they've accomplished." He gestured broadly toward James, Rachel, and David. James making partner before 35. Rachel saving lives every day. David taking our family business to new heights. I couldn't be prouder. Everyone clapped. Everyone cheered. Everyone raised their glasses. Rick's eyes swept the room, landed on me for half a second, and moved on. He did not mention me, not even in passing. He skipped right over me like I was not part of the family success story. After the toast, James stood up and gave a speech about family values and hard work, about how Uncle Rick had taught him never to give up and always strive for excellence. Everyone nodded and applauded. Rachel went next. She talked about following your dreams, about how Uncle Rick had supported her through medical school and believed in her. More applause. David thanked Rick for mentoring him, for teaching him the business, for trusting him with the family legacy. He got a standing ovation. Nobody asked me to say anything. Nobody looked at me expectantly. I was just there, in the corner, holding my beer and watching. After the speeches, I was standing alone near the bar when Aunt Linda walked past. Rick's wife. My aunt. Someone I had known my entire life. She stopped, smiled at me, and gave me that sympathetic look people give when they feel sorry for you but want to pretend it is kindness. "You know, Nathan," she said softly, almost gently, "it's okay that you're not successful like them. Every family has one. The embarrassment." She patted my shoulder. "Don't feel bad about it. We still love you." Then she walked away as if she had just given me a gift, as if she had just been compassionate. Every family has one. The embarrassment. I stood there, frozen beer in hand, watching her cross the room and return to the celebration. And something inside me clicked. It was not rage. It was not explosive anger. It was clarity. I had spent 7 years trying to prove myself to people who had already decided I did not matter. 7 years hoping they would notice, hoping they would ask, hoping they would care. They did not. They would not. And I was done hoping. I finished my beer, set the glass on the bar, walked out of the party, and drove home to my small apartment. I sat on my couch, opened my laptop, and looked at my company dashboard. The app had 73,000 active users. Revenue was growing 20% month over month. We had just closed our Series B funding at $8 million. I had standing acquisition offers from 3 major tech companies, offers I had been sitting on while waiting for the right time. I opened the highest offer, $62 million. I stared at it for a long time. Then I opened my email and wrote to my lawyer, "Accept the offer. Let's close this deal." I hit send, closed my laptop, and for the first time in 7 years, I did not care what my family thought. Because I had just decided something. They had spent 7 years treating me like I did not matter. I was about to spend the next chapter proving I did not need them to. The deal closed 3 months later for $62 million. After taxes, after splitting with my co-founders and early investors, I walked away with $23 million. $23 million. More money than James would likely make in his entire legal career. More money than Rachel would make as a surgeon. More money than David's family business was worth. And my family had no idea because I did not tell them. I took a month off. I traveled. I thought about what I wanted to do next. Then I came back and bought a house. Not just any house. The house. The one I had been looking at for 2 years. The one I used to drive past sometimes just to imagine what it would feel like to live there. Modern architecture, glass walls, open floor plan, 4 bedrooms, a home office with floor-to-ceiling windows, a huge backyard with a pool, a guest house, a 3-car garage. The kind of house that said, I made it. I paid cash, closed in 2 weeks, and spent the next month making it perfect. Furniture, art, landscaping, a pool guy, a house cleaner, everything. It was beautiful, exactly what I had imagined. Then I decided to throw a housewarming party, a big one. Catering, bartender, live acoustic music, the works. I sat down to make the guest list. I started with my co-founders, the people who had built the company with me, who believed in the vision when it was only an idea. I added my mentor, the guy who had advised me through every funding round, every difficult decision, every moment when I wanted to quit. I added my college roommate, the one who let me crash on his couch when I could not afford rent, the one who invested his savings in my Series A even though it was risky. I added my best friend from childhood, the one who had never once asked me when I was getting a real job. He just believed in me. I added friends from coding, boot camps, industry meetups, conferences, people who had supported me, encouraged me, and celebrated small wins when nobody else was paying attention. I got to 75 names. Then I stopped. I looked at the list and realized something. My family was not on it. Not Mom, not Dad, not James, not Rachel, not David, not Uncle Rick, not Aunt Linda. None of them. I stared at the list for a long time. Part of me thought, you should invite them. They are family. But another part of me remembered every, at least you're trying. Every, maybe next year. Every, still doing that computer thing. Every toast that skipped over me. Uncle Rick's 60th birthday party. Aunt Linda's words. Every family has one. The embarrassment. I looked at the list again. 75 people who had believed in me when it mattered. 0 people who had treated me like I mattered, only after I became useful to brag about. I closed my laptop without adding anyone. I sent out 75 invitations and 0 to family. And I did not feel guilty. I felt free. The party was on a Saturday in June. The weather was perfect. Sunny, 75 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. I hired a catering company, set up a bar in the corner of the backyard, arranged for a local acoustic guitarist to play, and strung lights across the patio. The house looked incredible. People started arriving at 2. My co-founder Marcus came first, bringing his wife and a bottle of expensive whiskey. He stepped into the entryway, looked around, and said, "Holy crap, Nathan, you actually did it. You bought the dream house." I did. It's perfect, man. I'm so happy for you. More people arrived. My mentor David, who had advised me through every funding round. My college roommate Chris, who had let me sleep on his couch when I could not make rent. My childhood best friend Tyler, who had never once asked when I was getting a real job. Friends from coding boot camps, industry conferences, startup meetups, and all the weird little communities that had kept me going when my family made me feel like I was wasting my life. By 3, the backyard was full. People were drinking, eating, laughing, swimming in the pool, and walking around the house with these big smiles on their faces. "This place is incredible," someone said. "You did it, Nathan. I'm so proud of you, man." Every compliment felt genuine. Every congratulations felt real, because these people had seen the struggle. They had supported me through the years when my own family was asking when I would get a real job. Around 4, Tyler pulled out his phone. "We need photos of this," he said. "This is legendary." He started taking pictures of the house, The party, groups of us laughing by the pool, and me standing in front of my new home grinning like an idiot. "I'm posting these," he said. "This is too good not to share." "Go for it," I told him. I was not on social media much anymore. I had been too busy building the company, but I did not care. Let people see it. Let them know I had made it. Tyler posted the photos to Facebook, tagged me and tagged a bunch of other people at the party. His caption said, "Celebrating Nathan's incredible new house. So proud of this guy for building something amazing and making his dreams come true. This is what success looks like." I saw the post, liked it, and moved on because I was busy having the best day of my life. We ate catered food, drank good beer and wine, and listened while the guitarist played covers of songs we all knew. Someone jumped in the pool, fully clothed. Someone else started a game of cornhole. It was perfect. Everything I had wanted. Everything I had worked for. Around 6, my phone started buzzing. I ignored it at first because I was in the middle of a conversation with Marcus about our next venture, about what we wanted to build after this. But it kept buzzing. Finally, I pulled it out. There was a text from Mom. "Nathan, where are you?" I stared at it, confused. I was at home, at my party. Why would she ask where I was? Then another text came in, this time from Dad. "We need to talk. Call me." Then James. "What the hell, Nathan?" Then Rachel. "Why didn't you tell us?" My confusion kept growing. Tyler walked over laughing in disbelief. "Dude, you need to see this." "See what?" He showed me his phone. It was the Facebook post from earlier, the photos of my house, the party, everyone having a great time. And then the comments. Oh, the comments. Someone had tagged my mother. She had seen the photos, and she had commented, "Why weren't we invited to our son's party?" That comment had been posted 20 minutes earlier. Since then, everything had exploded. Chris, my college roommate, replied, "Maybe because you called him an embarrassment." My mentor David commented, "I've known Nathan for 6 years. He's told me multiple times how his family never supported what he was building. Maybe that's why." Marcus, my co-founder, added, "I remember Thanksgiving 3 years ago when Nathan told me his dad asked when he was getting a real job. This was a real job, and he crushed it." A friend from a coding boot camp wrote, "Didn't his uncle toast everyone except him at that birthday party?" I heard about that. Brutal. Tyler commented, "Maybe don't call someone an embarrassment and then expect an invitation. Just a thought." The comments kept coming. Then someone posted a screenshot. It was from a family group chat I had left years earlier. I did not even know someone had saved it. The chat included Mom, Dad, James, Rachel, Uncle Rick, and Aunt Linda, all discussing me. James had written, "Nathan's still doing that app thing. How long is he going to keep pretending it's a real career?" Mom had replied, "I just worry about him. He's wasting his potential." Aunt Linda wrote, "Every family has one, the one who doesn't quite make it. We just have to accept it." Dad added, "I wish he'd just get a stable job, something we could be proud of." The screenshot was there, public, in the comments of Tyler's Facebook post, for everyone to see. More comments poured in from people I knew, people who had supported me over the years. "This house says otherwise. Looks like the embarrassment is doing just fine. Maybe you should have supported him when it mattered instead of dismissing him for 7 years. He surrounded himself with people who actually believed in him. That's smart. This is what happens when you treat family like they don't matter." Aunt Linda tried to comment, "We always loved Nathan. This is all a misunderstanding. We're very proud of him." Someone immediately replied with another screenshot, this one showing her exact words from Uncle Rick's party. "Every family has one. The embarrassment. Don't feel bad about it. We still love you." The timestamp was there. The context was there. There was no way to spin it. Uncle Rick commented next, "This is childish. Family should be there for each other. Nathan, you're being petty." Within minutes, 20 people responded. "Where were you when he needed support? You literally skipped over him in your birthday toast in front of everyone. He's not being petty. He's protecting his peace. Family should support each other." "You're right. Where were you for the past 7 years?" James tried to defend them. "We were always proud of Nathan. We just didn't understand what he was doing." My mentor replied, "Not understanding is fine. Dismissing is not. There's a difference." Tyler added, "You had 7 years to ask, 7 years to try to understand. You chose not to." Rachel posted, "Nathan, we love you. We're so happy for you. We just wish we could have celebrated together." Marcus responded, "You had multiple chances to celebrate with him. At every holiday and every gathering, you chose to make him feel like a failure instead." Chris replied, "Remember when your mom said, 'Maybe next year will be better for you,' at Christmas? Like every year was a disappointment. I was there. I heard it." The comments were brutal, honest, and public. Everything my family had said and done over the years was being laid bare, and they could not control the story anymore. My phone was exploding. Texts, calls, voicemails. Mom wrote, "Nathan, take down that post." Dad wrote, "People are saying horrible things about us. Make them stop." James wrote, "You're making us look bad. This is embarrassing." Rachel wrote, "Please call me. We need to talk about this." Uncle Rick wrote, "You owe us an apology. This is unacceptable." Aunt Linda wrote, "How could you do this to us?" I read every message. I listened to the voicemails. Mom crying, Dad angry, James demanding that I fix it. Then I turned off my phone, put it in my pocket, and walked back outside to my party. Marcus saw my face. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "I'm perfect." Family freaking out. "Yep. Do you want to leave? Deal with it." I looked around at my house, my friends, and the people who had been there for me when my family was not. "No," I said. "I want to celebrate." I raised my beer. "Hey everyone, can I get your attention for a second?" The backyard quieted. People turned toward me. "I just want to say thank you to all of you for being here, for supporting me over the years, for believing in me when it would have been easier to doubt me. You're my real family, and I'm grateful for every single one of you." People cheered and raised their glasses. "To Nathan," Tyler shouted. "To success," Marcus added. "To surrounding yourself with people who actually give a damn," Chris yelled. Everyone laughed, drank, and celebrated, and I felt lighter than I had in years because I had finally stopped caring what my family thought. The party went until midnight. People left slowly, hugging me goodbye and telling me they were proud of me. Tyler was one of the last to leave. "That Facebook thing is insane," he said. "It's gone viral, like actually viral." "What do you mean?" He showed me his phone. The post had 4,000 reactions, 800 comments, and had been shared over 200 times. Local news picked it up, he said. There's an article. "Man throws party excludes family who called him embarrassment. Internet responds." I stared at the headline. Holy crap. Yeah, you're famous now, in the best way. People are overwhelmingly on your side. My family is going to lose their minds. They already have. Have you checked the family group chat? I'm not in it anymore. Someone leaked screenshots to me. He showed me his phone again. A group chat titled, "Family with Mom, Dad, James, Rachel, David, Uncle Rick, and Aunt Linda." All of them were planning damage control, discussing how to fix their image, talking about calling me, demanding that I make a statement, asking me to take down the post. Not once did anyone say, "Maybe we were wrong." Not once did anyone apologize for how they had treated me. They were upset about looking bad, not about being bad. "They're not going to change," Tyler said quietly. "You know that, right?" "Yeah," I said. "I know." "Good. Because you don't need them. You never did." After Tyler left, I sat alone on my back porch looking at my house, my pool, my backyard, everything I had built. Without their help, without their support, without their approval. I had done it anyway, and they had missed it. Not because I hid it from them, but because they had never bothered to look. I turned my phone back on. 17 new voicemails, 43 text messages. I deleted them all without reading or listening. Then I opened Facebook. The post had grown again. 5,000 reactions, more than 1,000 comments. People I did not know were weighing in. This is what happens when you treat family like they don't matter. Good for him. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, not tear you down. The best revenge is success, and he clearly succeeded. I had a family like this. Cut them off 5 years ago. Best decision I ever made. Success doesn't need validation from people who never believed in you. I read through the comments for an hour and realized something. I was not alone. Thousands of people had experienced this. Families who dismissed them. Families who made them feel small. Families who only paid attention when success became undeniable. I had told my story accidentally and publicly, and it had resonated. I posted one comment on Tyler's post. Thank you all for the support. To everyone asking, yes, this is real. Yes, I'm okay. Better than okay. Sometimes the family you choose is more important than the family you're born into. Grateful for everyone who is there today. You know who you are. Then I closed Facebook, went inside, went to bed in my new house, and slept better than I had in years. I woke up Sunday morning to 127 notifications. The Facebook post had continued to grow overnight. Now it had 12,000 reactions, 2,000 comments, and more than 500 shares. Local news sites had picked it up, then regional ones. By Monday morning, a major tech blog had written about it. The headline read, "Tech founder excludes family from success. After years of being called embarrassment, internet weighs in." The article detailed my company's acquisition of the house, the party, my family's comments over the years, and the Facebook explosion. They had interviewed some of the people who commented. My mentor David, my co-founder Marcus, even Tyler. All of them backed up the story. All of them confirmed that, yes, my family had treated me like a failure for 7 years. And yes, I had succeeded anyway. The comments on the tech blog were just as supportive as Facebook. Good for him. Success doesn't need validation from people who never believed. I cut off my family for similar reasons. Best decision I ever made. They had 7 years to support him. They chose not to. That's on them. The fact that they're more upset about their image than about how they treated him tells you everything. My phone started ringing Monday morning. I had turned it back on to check messages from my real friends, and the first call was Mom. I let it go to voicemail. Second call, Dad. Voicemail. Third call, James. Voicemail. Then the text came in. Mom wrote, "Nathan, please, we need to talk. This has gotten out of hand." Dad wrote, "Call me immediately. This is affecting the whole family." James wrote, "Do you have any idea what this is doing to us? Mom's friends are calling her. People at my firm are asking questions." Rachel wrote, "I had a patient's parent ask me about this today at the hospital. This is humiliating." Uncle Rick wrote, "You've made your point. Now take down the post and let's move past this. I read every message. Not once did anyone apologize. Not once did anyone acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, they had been wrong. They were just upset about consequences, about looking bad publicly, about their friends and colleagues seeing who they really were." I typed one response and sent it to the family group chat they had added me back to without my permission. I didn't make you look bad. I told the truth. If the truth makes you look bad, that's something you need to deal with, not me. Then I muted the chat. That afternoon, I got a call from a number I did not recognize. I almost did not answer, but something made me pick up. "Nathan, this is Jennifer Wu from Good Morning America. We'd love to have you on the show to talk about your story. We think it's resonating with a lot of people who've had similar experiences with family dynamics." I sat down. Good Morning America wants to interview me. Yes. We're doing a segment on family expectations and success. Your story is perfect for it. Would you be interested? I need to think about it. Of course, here's my number. Call me back by Wednesday if you're interested. After we hung up, I sat on my couch staring at the wall. This had become bigger than I expected. Bigger than a Facebook post. Bigger than a local news story. I was becoming the face of something. Almost a movement. People who had been dismissed by their families. People who had succeeded anyway. People who had chosen peace over obligation. Tuesday morning, Aunt Linda showed up at my house. I saw her car pull into the driveway through the window. I watched her sit there for 5 full minutes before she finally got out. When she knocked, I opened the door but did not invite her in. "Nathan," she said, her voice tight and controlled. We need to talk. About what? About what you've done. About the damage you've caused. I haven't done anything. I had a party. Someone posted photos. That's it. You know that's not true. You deliberately excluded us. You knew it would hurt us. And now you're letting the internet destroy our reputation. I'm not letting the internet do anything. They're reacting to the truth. The truth. Her voice sharpened. The truth is that we have always loved you. We have always been proud of you. Maybe we didn't understand what you were doing, but that doesn't mean we didn't care. You called me an embarrassment. She flinched. That was taken out of context. What context? I was trying to make you feel better. You said, and I quote, "Every family has one, the embarrassment." You said that to my face at Uncle Rick's birthday party. How is that out of context? I was trying to make you feel better. By calling me an embarrassment? How does that make anyone feel better? You're twisting my words. No, I'm repeating them exactly as you said them. The only difference is that now, everyone knows. She stood there, opening and closing her mouth, looking for an angle, a way to make this my fault. Finally, she said, "You need to make a statement. Tell people this was a misunderstanding. Tell them we're a loving family. Tell them you overreacted." No, Nathan, I'm not lying for you. I'm not pretending the past 7 years didn't happen. I'm not making you feel better about how you treated me. We're family. You're related to me. There's a difference. She stared at me like I had slapped her. You're going to regret this, she said quietly, when you realize what you've thrown away. I haven't thrown away anything. You did, 7 years ago. You just didn't notice until now. She turned, walked back to her car, got in, and drove away. I closed the door and leaned against it. My hands were shaking, not from anger, but from adrenaline, from finally saying everything I had wanted to say for years. That evening, Marcus called. Dude, have you seen the response to what? The tech blog article got picked up by Business Insider, then Forbes, then the Wall Street Journal. You're everywhere. What? Check Twitter. You're trending. Choose Your Family is a thing now because of your story. I opened Twitter. He was right. Choose Your Family was trending. Thousands of people were sharing their own stories about families who dismissed them about succeeding anyway, about choosing the people who actually supported them. My story had become a rallying cry. People were posting photos of their chosen families, their friends, their mentors, and the people who believed in them when their blood relatives did not. This is insane, I said. It's resonating, Marcus replied, because it's real. How many people have families like yours? Families who make them feel like failures. Families who only care when success is undeniable. A lot, apparently. I didn't mean for this to happen, but it did. And now you have a choice. You can hide from it, or you can own it. Use your platform to help other people who've been through the same thing. How do I do that? Start by telling your story fully on your own terms. Not through screenshots and Facebook comments. Actually tell it. Wednesday morning, I called Jennifer Wu back. I'll do the interview, I said. But I want to be clear about something. I'm not doing this for revenge. I'm doing this because I think my story might help other people. That's exactly why we want you, she said. We've been getting emails from viewers asking us to cover stories like yours. Family dynamics, success, the pressure to conform. You're giving voice to something a lot of people feel but don't know how to express. The interview was scheduled for the following Monday. That gave me a week to prepare, to decide what I wanted to say and how I wanted to tell my story. On Thursday, I got an email from Mom. The subject line said, "Please read this." I almost deleted it, but curiosity won. She wrote, "Nathan, I'm writing this because you won't answer my calls, because I need you to hear me, even if you don't want to listen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for every, at least you're trying. I'm sorry for every, maybe next year. I'm sorry for not understanding what you were building, for dismissing it as that computer thing instead of asking you to explain it. I'm sorry we made you feel like a failure when you were actually succeeding. You're right. We treated you like you didn't matter. Like your accomplishments were less important because we didn't understand them. And I'm sorry it took all of this public humiliation for me to see it. I love you. I've always loved you, but I didn't show it the way you needed. I didn't support you the way you deserved. I'm not asking you to forgive me right away. I'm not asking you to fix our relationship overnight. I'm just asking you to know that I see it now. I see what we did wrong, and I'm sorry. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. Mom. I read it 3 times. It was the closest thing to a real apology I had ever gotten from her. No excuses, no justifications, just acknowledgement. But it also came after everything blew up, after the internet saw, after her friends called asking questions. Was she sorry for how she treated me? Or was she sorry everyone now knew how she treated me? I did not know. I wrote back 1 line. Thank you for the apology. I need time. I did not say how much time. I did not promise anything. I only acknowledged that I had heard her. Friday, Dad called. This time I answered. Nathan, he said. His voice was rough and tired. I saw what your mother wrote. I agree with every word. We failed you. I failed you. Yeah, I said. You did. I thought I was being practical. Encouraging you toward stability. A real job, as I kept saying. But you had a real job. You were building something incredible, and I was too stubborn to see it. Why are you calling Dad? Because I owe you an apology. Face to face if you'll let me, but right now over the phone, because I can't wait any longer. I'm sorry for everything. For making you feel like you weren't enough. For comparing you to James and Rachel and David. For not celebrating you the way I should have. His voice broke. You bought your dream house, and I didn't even know. I didn't know because I never asked. I never cared enough to pay attention. I'm proud of you, Nathan. I should have said that 7 years ago. I should have said it every day since. I'm sorry I didn't. I sat in silence, trying to process it. Finally, I said, I appreciate you saying that. Can we talk in person? I want to see the house. I want to hear about what you built. I want to actually listen instead of dismissing. Not yet, I said, but maybe soon. Okay, I'll wait, however long it takes. After we hung up, I sat on my couch for a long time. They were apologizing, really apologizing. But 7 years of hurt does not disappear with sorry. 7 years of feeling invisible does not vanish with one conversation. Saturday, I met Tyler for coffee. How are you holding up? He asked. I don't know. My family's apologizing. The internet's on my side. Good Morning America wants to interview me. It's a lot. Are you going to forgive them, your family? I don't know. Part of me wants to. They're still my parents, my siblings. But another part remembers every holiday, every gathering, every time they made me feel worthless. Tyler stirred his coffee and said, You don't have to forgive them, not right away. Not ever if you don't want to. Forgiveness is for you, not them. Don't do it because you feel obligated. What would you do? Honestly, I'd take my time. Let them sit with their apology. See if they actually change or if they're just sorry they got caught. How do I tell the difference? Time and actions. Talk is cheap. Change is expensive. See what they're willing to pay. That night, I sat down and wrote out everything I wanted to say in the Good Morning America interview. Not a script, just notes. Key points about building something when nobody believed in you. About the cost of family dismissal. About finding your people. About success not needing validation. About choosing yourself when choosing family means choosing pain. Monday morning, I flew to New York and did the interview. I told my story honestly and fully. Jennifer Wu was compassionate. She asked hard questions, but she gave me space to answer. Do you think you'll ever reconcile with your family? She asked. I don't know, I said. They've apologized. That matters. But apologies don't erase 7 years of hurt. I need time. I need to see if they actually change or if they're just managing their image. What would you say to people watching who've experienced something similar? That you're not alone. That you're not wrong for protecting your peace. That families should support you, and if they don't, it's okay to find people who will. Success doesn't need their approval. You don't need their approval. The interview aired Wednesday morning. Within an hour, it had been viewed 2 million times online. The comments were overwhelming. This made me cry. I've been the family embarrassment my whole life. I needed to hear this. Thank you for having the courage to tell your story. Cutting off toxic family was the hardest and best decision I ever made. Your success is the best revenge. You didn't need them. You proved that. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Mom. I watched your interview. I understand why you need time. Take all the time you need. I love you. No demands, no guilt, just acceptance. Maybe that was progress. Maybe that was change. Time would tell. 3 months after the interview, life started to feel normal again. The media attention faded. The Facebook posts stopped getting new comments. Twitter moved on to the next trending topic. But the impact remained. I got emails every day, sometimes dozens, from people who had watched the interview, read the articles, and seen themselves in my story. Thank you for giving me permission to choose myself. I cut off my toxic family after watching your interview. Best decision I ever made. Your story helped me realize I'm not alone. I responded to as many as I could. I tried to offer support, encouragement, and validation because I knew what it felt like to think you were the problem, to believe that maybe your family was right and you really were the failure. I also knew what it felt like to finally realize you were not the problem. They were. During those 3 months, I kept minimal contact with my family. Mom texted once a week, nothing demanding, just little updates. Thinking of you, hope you're doing well. No pressure to respond. Dad called once a month and left voicemails talking about his day, about things he had learned about books he was reading on family dynamics and emotional intelligence. He was trying, that much was clear. James sent me a long email apologizing for how he had defended them, for not standing up for me, for being part of the problem. I was jealous, he wrote. You did something I was too scared to do. You took a risk and built something from nothing. I followed the safe path and convinced myself that made me better than you. It didn't. It just made me conventional. I'm sorry. Rachel sent a handwritten letter to my house. In it, she detailed every time she had failed to support me, every gathering where she had stayed silent when someone dismissed me, every holiday where she had gone along with treating me like I did not matter. I was complicit, she wrote. Not speaking up is the same as agreeing. I should have defended you. I should have celebrated you. I didn't, and I'm sorry. Uncle Rick and Aunt Linda did not reach out at all. I was not surprised. 4 months after the interview, I invited Tyler and Marcus over. We sat on my back porch drinking beer and watching the sunset over the pool. How are you doing? Marcus asked. Really?
Better, I said.
The anger's gone. Now it's just sadness, I guess. Sadness for what it could have been if they had been different. Are you going to forgive them? Tyler asked. I think so, eventually. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean going back to how things were. What does it mean then? It means moving forward without the weight of resentment. It means acknowledging that they're trying without pretending the past didn't happen. That's healthy,
Marcus said. Healthier than I'd be. I'm trying.
Therapy helps. You're in therapy? Yeah, I started 2 months ago. I figured if I'm going to process all of this, I should do it right. Good for you, man. Seriously. 5 months after the interview, I agreed to meet my parents for coffee. Just them. No James, no Rachel, no extended family. We met at a neutral location, a coffee shop halfway between my house and theirs. They arrived early. I saw them through the window, sitting at a corner table, looking nervous. I took a deep breath and walked in. Nathan, Mom said, standing immediately. She looked like she wanted to hug me, but was not sure if she should. I hugged her. Brief, awkward, but it was a start. Hi, Mom, Dad. We sat down, ordered coffee, and sat in uncomfortable silence until Dad finally spoke. Thank you for agreeing to meet us. I'm not saying everything is fixed, I said, but I'm willing to try. That's all we're asking, Mom said. Her eyes were red like she had been crying before I arrived. We've been working on ourselves, going to counseling, reading books, trying to understand where we went wrong. And I asked, and we were terrible to you, Dad said bluntly. We were so focused on conventional success that we couldn't see what you were building. We made you feel worthless when you were actually creating something incredible. I spent 7 years trying to get you to notice, I said.
7 years hoping you'd ask, hoping you'd care.
We should have noticed, Mom said. That's on us, not you. You shouldn't have had to prove yourself to us. We should have just believed in you. Why didn't you? She thought for a long time before answering. Fear, I think. Fear that if you failed, we would have to watch you struggle. It was easier to dismiss what you were doing than to risk being disappointed. But that wasn't your burden to carry. That was ours.
I was never going to be James or Rachel or David, I said. I was never going to be a lawyer or a doctor or take over the family business. That wasn't me.
We know, Dad said, and we're sorry we made you feel like that was a problem. We talked for 2 hours about the past, about what hurt, about what needed to change going forward. By the end, nothing was fixed. But something had shifted. They were not asking me to forget. They were not asking me to pretend it did not happen.
They were only asking for a chance to do better.
As we were leaving, Mom said I'd like to see the house. When you're ready, no pressure. Okay, I said, maybe in a few weeks. We'll wait, Dad said, however long it takes. 6 months after the interview, I invited them over. Just Mom and Dad. Small steps. They arrived on a Saturday afternoon. I gave them a tour. I showed them every room, explained the architecture, the design choices, and the things that made the house mine.
Mom cried in the home office.
This is beautiful, Nathan. Everything you've built. The house, the career, the life. It's beautiful. Thank you. Dad stood in the backyard looking at the pool, the guest house, and the landscaping. You did this, he said quietly. Without us. Without our help. Without our support. You did this. Yeah, I said. I did. I'm proud of you. His voice broke. I should have said that 7 years ago. Every day since. But I'm saying it now. I'm so proud of you. We stood there for a while without speaking, just existing in the same space without tension. Before they left, Mom hugged me. Longer this time. Tighter. I love you, she said. I've always loved you. I just didn't know how to show it the way you needed. I know, Mom. I love you too. 8 months after the interview, James called. Hey, he said. I know we haven't talked much, but I wanted you to know I quit the firm. You what? I quit.
Handed in my resignation last week. I'm starting my own practice, smaller, more focused on helping people instead of making partner.
James, that's huge. I know, it's terrifying. But watching you take that risk 7 years ago and succeed made me realize I've been playing it safe my whole life. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm proud of you, I said. Thanks. And Nathan, I'm sorry. For everything. For not standing up for you. For being part of the problem. You deserve better from me. I appreciate that. Do you think we could grab dinner sometime? Just us? I want to hear about what you're working on now. Really hear it. Not just nod along like I understand. Yeah, I said. I'd like that. 10 months after the interview, Rachel invited me to her daughter's birthday party. My niece Sophia was turning 4. I had barely seen her over the years because family gatherings had become so toxic. I know it's a lot to ask,
Rachel said on the phone.
but Sophia keeps asking about her Uncle Nathan. She saw photos of your house and thinks you're the coolest person ever. I laughed. She does? Yeah, please come. I want her to actually know you, not just know of you. So I went. I brought a present. I played with the kids. I talked with Rachel and her husband like adults instead of adversaries. It was nice. Normal. The way family should have felt all along. 1 year after the interview, I hosted Thanksgiving at my house. Not the whole family, only the people who had put in the work. Mom, Dad, James, Rachel, and their families. Tyler came too. So did Marcus and a few other friends who had been there from the beginning. Chosen family and blood family mixed together, creating something new. Before dinner, I stood to make a toast. A year ago, I had a housewarming party, I said. I invited 75 people. None of them were family. That decision went viral. It became this whole thing. It changed my life. Everyone listened quietly. I don't regret that decision. I needed to protect myself. I needed to know that I didn't need validation from people who had spent years making me feel worthless. But I learned something this year. I learned that people can change, that apologies can be real, that family isn't about being perfect, it's about being willing to do the work. I look at my parents, then at James and Rachel. Thank you for doing the work,
For going to therapy.
for actually listening, for trying to understand instead of dismissing. It doesn't erase the past, but it creates a different future. Mom was crying. Dad had his arm around her. I raised my glass. To growth. To second chances. To chosen family and blood family coexisting. To all of us being better. Everyone raised their glasses. To Nathan, Tyler added, for having the courage to tell his story, and for teaching us all that it's okay to choose yourself. We ate. We laughed, we told stories, and for the first time in years, I felt like I belonged at a family gathering. Not because I had conformed, not because I had become what they wanted, but because they had finally learned to accept who I had always been. After everyone left, I sat alone on my back porch. The house was quiet. The pool light shimmered against the water. Stars filled the sky. I thought about the past year, about going viral, about the interview, about the emails from strangers, about my family's apologies and my decision to give them another chance. I pulled out my phone, opened Facebook, and found Tyler's original post from a year earlier, the one that had started everything. I read through the comments again, thousands of them, people supporting me, people sharing their own stories, people finding strength and knowing they were not alone. Then I typed a new comment, 1 year later. A lot has happened since this party. I've learned that healing isn't linear. That forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. That family can change if they're willing to do the work. And that the people who supported me when it mattered will always be my real family, whether they're blood or chosen. Thank you all for your support, for your stories, for helping me realize I wasn't alone. We're all just trying our best. Sometimes that means protecting ourselves. Sometimes it means giving second chances. Both are okay. Trust yourself to know which one you need. I posted it, closed the app, and put my phone away. The comment would probably get buried. Nobody was really reading that old post anymore. But it did not matter because I was not posting it for them. I was posting it for me. A marker of growth, of healing, of choosing a different path. I stood up and walked through my house. My beautiful, hard-earned dream house. Every room represented something I had built without their approval. Every piece of furniture was a choice I had made without their input. Every photo on the wall was a memory they had not been part of. And that was okay, because I had built this life, this success, this peace. They had missed it, but they were here now, and that was enough. Not perfect, but enough. Some families never change, some apologies never come, but mine did. And I chose to accept that. I chose to move forward to create something new while still honoring what I had learned. The embarrassment had become the success story. The dismissal had become validation. The family that did not believe had learned to believe. And the man they underestimated had proven to himself more than anyone else that he never needed their approval to succeed. He only needed his own. And that, I learned, was the greatest gift of all.